What has been on your mind? What has been on my mind is the fact that this week has been a very electrifying one, because one of my favorite personalities in the TV space and in the MCing space is joining us on the line. The one and only Mtha, aka Mtha, but you know her on the streets as Mtha. Ola forever. Mtha, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my darling?
Feeling all kinds of good, darling. How are you?
No, I'm fantastic. I'm perfect even. But yeah, how's the heat treating you that side?
You know what? If it were up to me, it would rain at least 3 times a week because the sun is not my friend.
Of course, it definitely should. But let's get straight into it. Let's talk about your vibrance. Your energy is a ball of fire, and I don't want to think it just starts from somewhere. It has to, it has to be a long time coming. Take us through when you felt like this was what you were destined for, and what more exactly catapulted you into the types of arts that you're currently doing right now.
So I've always been a girl who's never been shy. I have loved people. I've loved meeting people, experiences in life, and just basically being out there.
Yeah.
Then, what happened? Funny story. So I had a friend who was a photographer, and he would often ask me to model or help him out with, helping hone his craft, I mean. And then one thing led to another. My Instagram grew. And after my Instagram growing, COVID hit, right? So, okay, obviously we were all on the internet trying to, just kill the boredom. So here we are making videos, and 123 Swazi boys asking me if I could help them host a show called TikTok Eswatini.
Okay.
That was the first time ever I was in front of a camera, not just posing but speaking. And I fell in love with it from that moment on. And God was very gracious and merciful. Give me good while I was, just young enough to basically want to see what I could do more than just be a model or be a lawyer. I'm a lawyer by profession, right? For qualification.
Yeah. Most definitely. We are aware of that, and you're about to graduate real soon, which we're happy about. But let's talk about why choose law school and not pursue something in the arts.
School, I will always tell people, Guti, there's never a moment where you think law is not useful in your life. In whatever aspect of a career you're trying to pursue, whether it's real estate, literally any career involves a law. And once you are well versed in the law and how to approach it and how to interpret it, there's few things in life that get the key in whatever career that you're pursuing. So I always found law to be an outlet to bring out my creativity, my problem-solving skills. Literally, it's made me a very better person. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm out here. It's because of all the skills that I learned in the classroom. Yeah, and articulation as well. It's really been a blessing.
Right, we're decoding the one and only Mtha right here on 88.2. We're going to go on a musical break, but when we get back, we're going to talk more about, the rise and Forgive Me right here on 88.2, taking us to 22 minutes past the hour 10 right here on 88.2, the hottest frequency. We're decoding the one and only Mtha, who is talking everything the arts and her love for, being on that stage and entertaining you. I know many of you have heard her voice on almost every stage that there is. At some point, I wanted to beat her because, the girl has been working so hard. But Mtha, let's talk about your favorite stage thus far. I mean, you've done the SMA Awards, you've done Swama Awards, you've done Luchu Valentine stage, and you've done Swazi Boys, so many events, House Music Fest. There's so many things that you've done. But let's talk about that one stage that has been close to your heart this far.
I know I'm going to sound very biased, but that's not true. All of the stages I've worked on, I have absolutely loved. The people, the coordinators, everyone has been really nice. But if I had a gun to my head and was forced to choose which of the stages, I think it's because it's just so magnetic. The energy, bushfire. Oh my gosh, you guys. Starting from the Firefly stage, where it's preliminary to the actual Bushfire Festival, all the way to the actual festival, the Valentine stage. It's so amazing. The energy, Yalaban will come from all corners of Africa, even the world, and just watching them down there enjoying the time in the Kingdom of Eswatini, but also enjoying the stage and the entertainment we have out for them, it's unmatched. It's so amazing. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
And then, speaking of Bushfire, I mean, many of the people have been wanting to be on that stage. I know of so many people who wouldn't know of the procedure to go about when in regards to, emceeing such a big event. But let's talk about the preparations that you put in place as Mtha when it comes to emceeing for such an event that has a large number of patrons attending and from all across Africa and even the world at large.
I will be very honest with you. It takes a lot of prayer. I am on my knees half the time, asking God for the strength and the words and the wisdom to speak, but also have the people receive me in a very positive way. I ask there not to be any. Imagine falling off a stage.
Yo.
I know it may sound silly to ask God for that, but you really have to be intentional about the things that you're asking for. So it's a lot of prayer, but also a lot of watching other people do their things and learning skills and being able to take criticism, but also being able to give a credit where it's due with the other MCs like Angwane and also even the MCs outside of the country as well. So it's just a lot of learning and listening and being open to being taught as to this is how you do it, this is not what you do it.
All right. And then before I let you go for the break, let's talk about who you say you speak so much of people that you look up to, but who would you say you look up to in the emceeing space, whether it's in the country or, like you said, outside of the country?
So outside of the country, it's the one and only Bonang. Come on, you guys. You can agree.
Of course we can.
Of course.
She's the baddest. All right. So we're still decoding Mtha right here on 80.2, 26 minutes past the hour. She's basically asking who you find as an influence in your work currently and what version do you offer the entertainment scene in the country?
Oh, okay. I really look up to... So the question that you had asked me, Wendy, about who is basically inspiring me inside the country and out, and I said Bonang. I have this lady that I look up to so much. Her name is Piwo Dlamini. She actually MCs the main stage at the Bushfire Festival. She is so talented. She's so good. And I really think if she were to just, be on the I am leaving the country, she would be in America right now. She is so amazing. And the version that I basically offer the country is the only version that I know, which is myself. I can only learn from other people. I can never imitate or copy. So that's just, I can only ever be me without failing. Because if I tried anything else, I'd crash and burn. I would crash and burn.
Thank you very much. But then my question for you is this, ne? We all know that our parents usually disagree with us when we want to venture into the entertainment industry. Was the ideal career for them is 9 to 5, just like low. So I just want to ask, Guti, how has your family and God been an immense support in this dream of yours?
I could write a novel about how supportive my parents have been. If the whole thing about Swazi Boy, my parents would drive me every day after church on Sundays. They drive me to the studio where we're shooting, stay and wait for me to finish shooting, and then take me back home. There are countless other circumstances or where they have taken me places back when I didn't even know how to drive. They take me places and wait for me there. I've been doing a lot of KFC work. There was a time when I had to go to Hlangano. I don't know the way to Hlangano. My dad drove me. They have just been very, very supportive and have invested so much in this. And I know it sounds a bit crazy where you think, obviously, it's not a 9 to 5 and it's not as secure as a 9 to 5 would be. But they have always been the people that want you to chase after your dreams and want you to be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. And I thank God so much for them, and I couldn't have asked for a better family in that regard.
And then in regards to speaking about family, I mean, you do mention that your father had to drive you, and I remember seeing that message on your Instagram where you spoke so highly about how they supported you and actually waited at the show. But now let's talk about the recent endorsement that you got with Perfect Choice Eswatini. Let's talk about that call. When does it come through, and how were you feeling? Did you get to a point where you actually felt like, I feel like my work is actually being recognized, or you were still trying to believe in what had just happened?
One was wild. That was the last thing I would have ever expected, because I mean, Perfect Choice it's global, right?
Yeah.
So if when I got the call, there was this agency, I don't know if you know, Third Angel Agency, that called me up and said, hey, we've seen your social media presence and we'd like for you and someone else to be a part of the team that are going to help us push the Perfect Choice brand within the country.
Yeah.
I had to blink twice. I had to think and just come back to myself to say, I can't believe this is real. It was amazing, and again, I think it's just all the work of the Lord, because this wouldn't have happened if my social media and people weren't as supportive as they are of me and my craft. So it was crazy. It was crazy.
But before I let you go for the musical break, I want to touch on that when we get back. I want us to talk about the social media presence and how one builds a social media brand from the ground up, basically. We're still hanging out with the one and only Mtha right here on 88.2. When we get back, we're talking about social media presence, and we also want to find out from her what the future looks like for her. Are we heading over to hosting, a TV show? It is to listen to that project. I mean,
I love this girl.
Somewhere.
so let's talk about, the social media, like I did mention before the musical break. How does one grow a brand from social media, and what are the benefits that you've personally seen that you'd love to advise someone who may be listening who's like, hey man, nami ngiyafuna kukhulisa social media yami, but how do I do it? Do I strategize? How do I curate content? What would you say was that one tool that you used in order to more or less grow your platform?
Okay, I will tell you something now for free. It's 2023, guys. 2023 means all of our lives now are digital. We're on our phones half of the day, and we're consuming content like we have never in the entirety of the existence of the earth.
Yeah.
So one thing that I learned is do a lot of research on what people are consuming in terms of trends and how you can fit yourself into it. But most of all, it's the interaction. When people comment or send you DMs or even like your videos, it's very important that you interact with them, you comment back, you just basically show that you are present, and the continuous posting. That's how I was fortunate enough to have learned, even without having done the research that I'm maybe doing now. I was able to know ukuthi bantu nangabe ba interact now on your DMs or on your comments. It's very important that you interact back, because you're building a relationship without having to be face to face with each other. That is very important. So that would just be my advice, to get on social media. If you want a life in entertainment, get on social media today. But also don't be lazy with it. You have to interact with the people that are supporting you, because one day you will want their support in the real life, in buying the products that you want them to be buying, in investing in the things that you are basically putting out. You understand?
And then most of the people are probably going to ask the next question, us now my iPhone, send in Jani, because we need our pictures to be crystal clear. We need our videos to, sound very audible. But how do we do it? There's so many things involved in it.
And I agree with that, Ramli. The quality of it is all that matters. Without my iPhone.
Yeah.
That's where I started. But most of all, who has an iPhone or who has a phone that's clear, because all of the phones that are being created that don't have a camera quality look good are very few. Most of them now have really good cameras. So whether your friend is 78 Android or 78 iPhone, ask them, listen, my friend, and especially if they're going to be good friends, they're going to support you in any way possible. Ask them to take the content of you, take videos of you. People want to even watch you eat your food and wake up in the morning. That's how much we are consuming content. And it doesn't have to be anything specific or anything big or anything expensive. Just live your life, and you're living your life. So with that, you can ask them to help you out, take the videos, send them to you, you post, and that's basically all there is. That's how I started anyway.
And then now, moving on to the future of what you see for the brand Mtha. How does the space look like when it comes to what Mtha is looking forward to doing? Can we see Mtha dabbling some TV shows outside of the country? Are we seeing more of you on the MCing stage? What is the plan when it comes to Mtha?
Mtha is going to speak under the grace and favor of God and say, I am going to do amazing, great things.
Hallelujah.
I am going international, baby. You know what I'm saying? I am going to grace the biggest stages, but most of all, what I really am passionate about is TV. So just watch out. In the next couple of years, you will be seeing me on the E. You know what I'm saying? You will be seeing me on MTV if that's still alive. But you will definitely be seeing all of that, and that is on God.
Yeah. And I really appreciate and love the fact that you always put God first. And I feel like that's something that we have, I don't want to say we've lost the essence of as a generation, but we seem to only come to God when we've got problems. So I love the fact that you always put him first and you like, he knows my plans better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so now we're about to find out what Mtha's top 5 is. So this is an interesting part of the show where we get to find out a little bit better of our guests and find out the size that no one actually knows. So Mtha, you need to answer these questions as simple and as honestly and as fast as you can. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
All right, let's go. The first question is, what is your favorite pair of shades that you own?
There's these black ones, very slim. I don't do big shades. I don't have a face for big shades. So tiny, small, slim ones. Black.
TV or radio?
Sorry?
TV or radio?
Radio. My favorite radio.
And one of the songs that you're currently hooked on?
Right now, it has to be Gangnam Style. What a gem.
Ooh, interesting. I love that song also. Favorite meal to prepare?
Pasta.
Love that. And then the last one is the top 5 favorite media personalities in the country or even abroad.
Have Mdura number 1. That is a fave. We have Pure Germany, as I've mentioned.
Yes.
I love Alfo.
Ooh.
I am obsessed, completely obsessed with what's this person? Gogo.
Yes, we're aware of him.
You know Gogo, right?
The comedian.
We're aware of Coco. Yeah, we're aware of him.
Gogo completely. And then also, lastly, there is a new and upcoming MC called Nding, and he is really good. I was working with him over the weekend.
Oh, that is fantastic. Love your top 5. Right, so Mtha, good luck to all that you put your heart and mind to. And like you did say, God will continue shining his light over you. And we're not done. We're still going to eat, sleep, and breathe Mtha when it comes to the media space. Otherwise, thank you so much, Mtha, for hanging out with us right here on 8.2 and giving us your side of the story and just hanging out with us this morning.
May I please have some closing remarks?
Of course, you can go ahead.
I would like everyone has helped me hone my skill. I would list them all, but just off the top of my head, King Terry, Cybos, Dura, everyone that I've worked with, Speech Mlangeni, Shadow, everyone who has believed in me and has given me opportunity. I want to thank you so much for allowing God to work through you. And just to anyone else who would like to work with the girl is available. The girl is here, and just thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the future, but also thank you guys for having me on the show. I'm very humbled so much.
All right, that's the one and only Mtha.